It sucks because I don't like that Wisconsin is dead last. I also don't really enjoy Wisconsin, but I will always respect Wisconsin because they're a pretty traditionally
Our entire
good team.
lives, they've been a very good program.
100%.
Not a title contender, not a championship-level team, but very solid, very good every year.
We stormed the field because we beat Wisconsin in Corvallis. Like, that's a really respectable team. As you mentioned, you faced them in a Rose Bowl.
Oregon winning that 2011 Rose Bowl is one of the highlights of my Duck fandom. I remember vomiting outside of the stadium after the game. That was a huge deal.
That's how nervous you were. That's definitely the only reason you vomited.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this weekend to me, and if you Duck fans out there, you let me know if you think I'm way off. I almost feel like the big takeaway from this week's game is like how sick the gear is. The merch is for sale now. Like, that's where I think people are more at in the game.
And can they handle the elements?
Yeah, we'll see what the weather ends up looking like. It might be pretty nasty down in Eugene tomorrow, which would lead to kind of a low-scoring, ugly game, I would imagine. You're not going to sling the rock a ton, get out of there healthy.
Dude, I hate
Wisconsin's
to
not going to score a point on you. They shouldn't. Their offense is
the
worst in the country, arguably. They haven't scored a point in back-to-back weeks. They've scored 10 points in 3 weeks. They can't score on anybody. And I don't really care who their quarterback is.
They've been outscored 132-20 in 4.
Yeah, I mean, they're horrendous. I think the only thing of this game is, hey, the gear is pretty cool, and let's just stay healthy. Everybody stay healthy, ready, break. There's just not a lot. And it's unfortunate because the Big Ten needs programs like Wisconsin to be good. There was an article that came out earlier this week looking at the ratings, the TV ratings early in the year. And of the, 12, 13, 15, whatever most watched games, like 9 of them are SEC games because they just have...
Well, their conference is better this year.
It's better. They have more interesting matchups week in and week out. Yes. And programs like Wisconsin having the year they're having and the last couple of years that they're having is a part of the reason the Big Ten just doesn't quite match it.
There's just not a lot of, like, Nebraska, Michigan. Those are teams that generate views, but, like, you don't go into all their games and go, oh, I have to watch this one. Like, Nebraska sucked last Friday.
Yeah, game day's going to Nashville. It's Missouri-Vanderbilt.
Yes, it's a top 15 matchup. There haven't been that many of those. How many top 15 matchups have we had in the Big Ten? Oregon and Penn State, Oregon and Indiana. Any other top 15 games in the Big Ten?
Let's just be
fair. We've had
here.
Ranked games. There's teams that have been ranked, but
outside of Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana,
USC
the Big Ten doesn't have a lot of conference teams that you get excited for. If USC's on the road, that's a loss.
Yeah.
Michigan, no thanks.
Yeah.
The Huskies, you can't trust that yet.
No.
Like, outside of those 3 teams
that second tier of teams that we looked at, that none of them have really stepped up. To your question on Illinois, USC, Illinois the week before lost by 53 to Indiana.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe Indiana, Illinois was a top 15-ish game. That probably was. And then they lost by 53, and somehow they're still ranked.
Well, Dan Lanning was on yesterday with Primetime, as he is every Thursday. I did enjoy their honest commentary of, like, all right, well, we're going to pause Chauncey because it's Dan Lanning. Like, we can reschedule Josh Pate. If we had Dan Lanning, we would have done Dan Lanning.
You don't reschedule that one.
And so they had Dan Lanning on, and they had a delightful little conversation about coffee. I really enjoyed that. Anyways, this game doesn't have much juice, and I enjoyed their conversation. Here is a part of the conversation. Dan Lanning was asked, is there a specific kick time you like? And he's a coach, so what do you think his answer was? Doesn't matter.
Put the ball down. We'll play it whenever you need to.
And he did say that, like, if he ideally had to pick one involving recruiting, he'd pick a later kick so he could have all day with the recruits and they could get in town, right?
Yeah, some of them can't make it into town if it's a 12:30 kick because they're coming from all over the country.
But the early kick was brought up for tailgating purposes. Dan Lanning sounds like he's more Sprague than he is dirt.
Go sit at a restaurant by myself and realize that's pretty
Why not just tailgate a little bit earlier? Like, hey, instead of, if it's an early game, like, let's do breakfast burritos, make some, do something fun, right? Like start the tailgate at 3 a.m. Like, why not?
Give me the bed
get the brisket going, whatever. Smoke something the night before. Like, that could be so much fun.
Give me those
Bring the big nooner to Eugene. Shut up.
9 a.m. game. Stop complaining, you bitches.
It's not wrong.
Early kick times. Wake up. Don't sleep all night. Drive down at midnight. Tailgate at 2 a.m.
Take a fat nap.
What the hell's the matter with you?
Go down to Eugene. Start tailgating at 3. Smoke your meat the night before. Do your breakfast burritos and have fun for a 9 a.m. kick.
One of the highlights of when I was in college was, ironically, that 2007 year that we just talked to Pate about. I'll never forget. They played Arizona State, and it is now a game that will live in infamy because it's the game that Dixon ended up getting hurt at the end of, and it was the week before he went down to Arizona and the knee buckled. But College Game Day was in town for the second time that year, and that was a 5 o'clock ABC kick, like 5 p.m. prime time night game. So College Game Day starts at
live.
6 o'clock in the morning, and we went out the night before. A buddy of mine, we got about 2 hours of sleep, woke up, walked over to College Game Day. That time it was near the stadium, hence they've moved it back towards campus. But that game day was over in the Autzen parking lot. We walked over at 4 o'clock in the morning, partied for college game day. We had a friend who rented a tailgate spot, and we literally just stayed at the stadium all day.
Yeah.
We were up at 4 o'clock in the morning, went to game day, walked over to the tailgate lot. We were there at 9:30, and the game did not start until 5 p.m. And I probably ate 847 hot dogs and drank 692 beers in like 9 hours, and then Oregon won the game. It was one of the highlights.
If you're
of
ever going to do
college
that,
days.
it would be the ideal time would be in November. And after college basketball, have a college basketball game late Friday night.
For people to come down, go to the college basketball game.
Have people come down, and then you can either get your tailgate spot overnight, you get that parking spot all night, or you get a place, or you crash with a friend.
That's
or
a
whatever.
difficulty of it, that they don't let I think you have to have certain permits to get into the tailgate lots by a certain time.
Yeah,
they don't let everybody in the night
if
before.
If you planned it, if you knew it was coming, like if you had to wait until like a week before, you couldn't pull it off.
We know they're not going to get a big nooner. They're not going to do that.
They're not going to do that on
it's
the West Coast.
It's in the media rights deal.
Yeah.
The West Coast teams will not host a 9 a.m.
But
game.
I do think if you were ever in a situation down the road where it was a possibility and they were like, dude, you guys have a big team. Like, we want Joe Klatt at this game.
Yeah.
I think all those permits and all, like, they would change the circumstances.
If it was a big enough game, the fans would find a way to make it work. The last time they played an early game, they played an 11 a.m. game on the Pac-12 network against Portland State in one of the years that Mario was there. And I will never forget walking into that stadium. Now, it's Portland State, so,
Exactly. I think that's a big part of it.
But it was also 11 a.m., and the crowd looked like it was half asleep.
But it's Portland State.
Wasn't a sellout.
If it's Ohio State, that crowd ain't dead. They're getting up. Did you see that Utah crowd for their big nooner against Tech?
It was solid. That's
was
not a 9
great.
a.m. local kick, though.
It's 10.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. That's an extra hour. It's an extra hour. It's different.
I think you're mad that Lanning's pro Sprague.
I'm not mad that he's pro Sprague.
Get some
I just
breakfast burritos and shut up.
I think it's a bad take. He just wants to get the game over with early so he doesn't have to wait around all day with his team.
Yeah.
I don't blame him for wanting to play the
Eggs,
game early.
bacon, and go whip ass.
Whip ass, man.